Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Berea City Council meeting, Tuesday, January 16th, 2024. I'll call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please let the record reflect that a quorum is present. This time I'll call on Cora Jane Wilson for the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Ron Terrell. Cora Jane.
You don't care, stand with me. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, for all your blessings. I pray, Lord, that you be with each and every one in here. Lord, help us to do what is best for our city. Give us direction and guidance. And Heavenly Father, be with the people that are out in the cold and help us to be more mindful of what's going on in our city. And in Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. The next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
By Steve Cottle, second by Jerry Little. Any discussion on the agenda? Jerry, if you would. Jerry?
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda and add ordinance 04-2024 to it.
There's a motion to amend the agenda to add ordinance number 04-2024. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion to amend? Seeing none, I'll request a voice vote. All in favor of the motion to amend, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. The motion to amend carries, and we're back to the original question, approval of the agenda as amended. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a voice vote. All in favor of the motion to approve the agenda as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. The agenda is approved. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from December 19th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
By Jim Davis. Is there a second? By Katie Startzman. Is there any discussion on the motion to approve the minutes, edits, corrections? Seeing none, I'll request a voice vote. All in favor of the motion to approve the minutes from December 19th, 2023, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. The motion carries and the minutes are approved. Next on the agenda, we're very happy and appreciate the flexibility by Xenia Hensley and Lisa Foster for coming back. They were scheduled to come 2 weeks ago when our meeting was canceled, but they're here from Redeeming Hope, and this is Human Trafficking Awareness Month. So at this time, I'd like to recognize Xenia Hensley and Lisa Foster from Redeeming Hope. Ladies, you have the floor. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and council members, for letting us come back again. So we're real excited about what we've gotten done so far since last time we talked to you. I think it's been about a year. But so January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and I think you all probably remember that in 2019, Kentucky ranked number 9 in the nation for human trafficking. So the last I spoke with the Attorney General's office, she said that they have not done another report since COVID. But one of the human trafficking task force classes that we attend, the chairperson said that Ohio ranks number 5, and he could guarantee us Kentucky was right there with Ohio. So human trafficking is still a huge problem. But, so what we're doing is Redeeming Hope. We did have our groundbreaking. We've got our 5 acres that Church on the Rock gave us. We're anxious to get started building on that. And since then, we've had a lot of more people donating building supplies, and the community's really excited about it. More people, when we see them out, are saying, "Oh, I've heard about you guys. You know, I didn't realize that was such a problem." But anyway, we're excited to be getting started and moving along. And Xenia, you want to add to that?
I have to get my thoughts together, otherwise I'll be all over the place. So I just want to say thank y'all for allowing me to be a part of this organization. Like Lisa said, in 2019 we did rank number 9, and according to the Cabinet of Health and Family Services, we have had an increase of reports with labor trafficking and sexual trafficking for human trafficking in the last 2 years. So since 2020, it just has risen. It risen in 2020, risen in 2021, and so on. So 2023, because we're in 2024 now. So 2023, we haven't gotten a report for that, but in 2022, it was at our highest. So it hasn't been reported nationwide yet, but as Lisa said, if we were number 9 in 2019, imagine where we are now. And those specifically are the ones that were just reported, with the youngest victim being at the age of 1 to 17. Again, just to recap, Redeeming Hope is a home for girls in high school age from 14 to 18 who have had some type of sexual trauma. We would have CBT, trauma therapy services there in the home, 24-hour care, in order to help them get the healing that they need. We do thank you all for your support and appreciate you for allowing us to be here tonight. Do y'all have any questions or anything?
Can I add one thing? We're doing a lot of fundraising, trying to get the money, and we've got a lot coming. I would love to see all of you all there at Boone Tavern on February the 10th. We're selling tables of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can have 2 tables for you guys. But so we're doing a lot of fundraising, so there's actually something for everybody. And I know it's a lot, but we're just trying to hit every area so to get the house built.
Just a question for you before we open it up. Is there a website or a place that someone can go to get more information about the organization and about your efforts?
RedeemingHopeKY.org.
RedeemingHopeKY.org.
Yes.
Good. And if somebody wants to donate before they come to the event on February the 10th, how do they do that? Do they go to the website and do that?
They can go to the website, and we have a link on Facebook as well.
So there's a
We have
Facebook.
Cash App, PayPal, anyway, we Cash, Venmo, however you want. Lisa, she goes around and picks up cash, so.
Well, I know that there have been a lot of contributions, but a lot more needed because this will be an expensive project, and not just to get it started, but to maintain it over time. And before I open it up for questions, I'll just add my 2 cents that I'm beyond impressed in what you all have been able to do in just a short amount of time as far as making plans, acquiring land, and raising funds. So you're making the world a better place, and hats off to you for that. Questions for our friends from Redeeming Hope? Jim?
How much is a table for 8?
Be 600 with 75 tickets. Is it 800? 600. 600. And it holds 8 people.
Right at our lovely Boone Tavern.
Other questions or comments? Now's your chance. All right, again, you know, we're aware, and we're trying to help raise awareness, not just for Redeeming Hope, but for this national disease that's human trafficking. I told Xenia, Lisa, that I had a surprise, and I said it's a good surprise, so I'm going to do that right now. We kind of looked, and with Robin's help, we came up with a proclamation for this month. It's known as Human Trafficking Prevention Month, but also Human Trafficking Awareness Month. I've seen it listed both ways, so I'll read that if y'all will be patient with me for just a minute. Whereas human trafficking is a public health issue and crime that exploits the most vulnerable among us and weakens the health and well-being of individuals, families, and communities across generations. And whereas more than 20 years since the passing of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, human trafficking still exists, including the forced or fraudulent recruitment, harboring, or transportation of people for labor or commercial sex. And whereas an estimated 27.6 million people are subjected to human trafficking globally, including cases of human trafficking reported in every U.S. state and territory. And whereas human trafficking can happen to anyone, but certain populations are disproportionately at risk, including people affected by abuse, violence, poverty, unstable living situations, social disconnection, and discrimination. And whereas people can be trafficked in person and online in industries such as restaurants, domestic work, construction, agriculture, and factories, and by strangers or someone they know, including employers, partners, and family members. And whereas human trafficking can be prevented by building individual, community, and societal understanding and resilience, reducing social inequities, and addressing the conditions that contribute to exploitation. And whereas the City of Berea has dedicated to ensuring anyone impacted by human trafficking can receive services that provide individualized care, understand the impact of trauma, and incorporate cultural and linguistic needs. And whereas a successful response to human trafficking requires a coordinated, community-wide effort. And whereas people who experienced human trafficking have relevant perspectives and expertise, and the City of Berea will engage and collaborate with them to help strengthen trafficking-related services and programs. And whereas every individual, family, community, and organization can contribute to enhancing human trafficking awareness, prevention, and response by learning about ways to help. Now, therefore, I, Bruce Fraley, Mayor of the City of Berea, Kentucky, do hereby proclaim the month of January 2024 as Human Trafficking Prevention Month, reaffirming our commitment to increase awareness and education on human trafficking, make resources available to assist individuals and communities impacted by human trafficking, and build diverse public-private partnerships to support a more comprehensive response to prevent and respond to human trafficking. And I would like to issue that to you all today, and maybe this can go up in the new home once it's built. So if y'all would come forward, and council, if you'll come in, we'll ask Rose to take a picture for us.
Somebody else be in the front here, Cora.
Steve's going to be today.
Oh my gosh.
Get in front of it. Everybody got the good side turned? Oh, good. Thanks again to Lisa, the founder of Redeeming Hope, and Xenia, who is on their board of directors, and do encourage all of you to help do what you can to raise awareness and encourage support for their organization. All right, the next item on the agenda is ordinance number 01-2024, 334 Rash Road Zone Change Classification, and this is the first reading, and I'll recognize Corporate Counsel J.T. Gilbert. J.T.?
First ordinance of the year, so. Ordinance 1/2024 by title is an ordinance of the City of Berea, Kentucky, changing the zoning classification of property described herein and referred to as 334 Rash Road and owned by Roy Todd Builders LLC from R1 Single Family Residential to B2 Major Business based on the findings of fact and recommendation of the Planning Commission. First reading.
Okay, that is the first reading, with the second reading scheduled for February the 6th. Per past practice, I'll open the floor up for any discussion or questions about ordinance number 01-2024? All right, seeing none, we'll move forward. Next item on the agenda is ordinance number 02-2024, 2024 Stormwater Design Manual. Again, this is the first reading. Mr. Gilbert?
Ordinance 02-2024 is an ordinance of the City of Berea, Kentucky adopting the 2024 Stormwater Design Manual as a reference standard from Code of Ordinances, Chapter 34, Stormwater Control, specifically referenced in Section 34005, 34205C, 34205E4, and 34301E. First reading.
Again, this is first reading. I'll note that there was a work session tonight for the council to go over this prior to the council meeting. Second reading is scheduled for February the 6th, but I will open the floor for any discussion or questions about ordinance number 02-2024. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll move forward to ordinance number 03-2024, pay scale revision. This is the first reading. Mr. Gilbert?
Ordinance 03-2024 is an ordinance revising the authorized positions assigned pay grade and pay scale by adding the position of metering coordinator, adding the position of small engine repair technician, and deleting the positions of electric meter technician and water meter technician. First reading.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert. And this also was subject to a work session prior to the city council meeting tonight, with second reading scheduled for February the 6th. I'll open the floor up for any discussion or comments. Mr. Cottle?
I do think it's important from a budgetary standpoint to note that the changes made in the pay scale that we've adding and removing positions is actually a net savings that was brought to us by our department head. So it's always appreciative. We're always appreciative of department heads looking strategically to make sure that they have their needs met while also saving citizens as much money as possible.
Thank you, Steve. Any other discussion or comments on ordinance number 03-2024? All right, seeing none, we'll move forward. The next item on the agenda is ordinance number 04-2024. This concerns city council and mayor pay. Mr. Gilbert?
Ordinance number 04-2024 is an ordinance of the City of Berea, Kentucky, amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Berea, Kentucky by revising Section 20.100 and Section 20.201 to provide for an increase in compensation of the positions of mayor and council members. In sum, it increases the annual salary of the mayor from $12,000 to $25,000. It increases the compensation of council members from $400 a month to $600 a month. First reading.
Again, this is the first reading with the second reading scheduled for February 6, 2024. But per past practice, I'll open the floor up to any discussion, comments. Ms. Centers?
I want to point out that Mr. Terrell is sponsor of this, and also as we had discussion in the work session, there will be folks who assume that we are voting ourselves a raise, and that is not the case. This can't be done by, we won't get the raise. It will go into effect with the next seated council after the 24 election, and won't go into law until, it'll go into law when we pass it, but it won't be effective until the next council is seated in January of 25.
Okay. Further discussion or comments? Further discussion or comments? All right, seeing none, the second reading for that will be scheduled on February the 6th as well. The next item on the agenda is department head reports. And Rose, who do we have as our featured speaker?
Tonight, our featured speaker is Kevin Howard,
All
our
right.
General Manager for the Utilities.
Kevin, you have the floor. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor Fraley, Administrator Beverly, and Council. A few items I wanted to go over tonight. I do appreciate the opportunity to give you an update on everything going on with the utilities, and also wanted to take advantage, starting off the new year, one of the things that one of the things that we do is at the end of a calendar year is sort of go over some metrics and some data that we sort of monitor year over year, just to gauge the health of our utility. I got a few of those numbers, but the first thing I wanted to cover tonight was probably the most pressing issue before us right now, and that was of our water supply. As you know, we issued a water conservation advisory with the recent precipitation. It is helping. We've got to the point now, I think, to where the ground's saturated, so everything that we get is going into the lakes. As of this afternoon, Owsley Fork is now down 6 feet, Cowbell is down 10 feet, and Bee Lake is down 20 inches. Part of that Bee Lake being down a little more is we did turn off the other pumps that feed into Bee Lake, just in case that the rain that we got would overflow. We try to save every drop that we can during this time. That's raised at our current demand. Last week's daily demand was around 2.8 million gallons a day. With that demand, it's 165 days of supply. So we have gained probably 30 days of supply from our low period. I do want to caution, I think we probably need to keep this advisory in place through at least January. I know with this snow melt, that'll help. We got some more snow forecasted, and if you look ahead next week, some rain forecasted. Hopefully that'll really improve. I would strongly recommend for this time of year that we would not lift that advisory till we at least get over 200 days of supply. At full capacity of around 290 days on average demand. Another thing I want to point out is over the last couple of days with the cold weather, we went up 150,000 gallons a day on demand, and probably more after tonight. Folks tend to leave the faucets dripping or running during the extreme cold weather. So even if we gain just a little with the demand going up, we may stay right around this 165 days of supply until we can get some warmer weather. But more precipitation's on the way, and hopefully things will improve there. One of the things, I'd sort of went over this with Administrator Beverly and Mayor Fraley a couple weeks ago. How did we get in this condition? We track this daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. We've kept a really detailed record since 2011. If you average those years out, in 2023, we had 14 inches less of precipitation than what we did the other years from 2011 through 2022. In July, the lakes were full. That's sort of uncommon for in the middle of the summer. From August to December of 2023, we got 12.3 inches of rain. Historical average during that time frame is 22 inches. So just that time frame, the last 2 quarters of the calendar year, we were down 10 inches of normal precipitation. So that is the reason. It's uncommon for this to happen during the winter months, but the last 2 water advisories we have had has been during the winter months. It does normally recharge quicker. We're just asking our customers to be patient with us. Please take it serious. The advisory stage, if we don't conserve, that leads to a little further conservation measures. So with that said, I wanted to go over, like I said, some of the data that we track year over year. Is work orders, number of outages. In our electric department, work orders completed for the calendar year was 915. Number of outages, we had 158 outages. In calendar year 2022, we had 116. We're always talking about all the measures that we put in place to try to be more reliable. We feel like we We improve on that every year, so that number stuck out to us. We go back, if you remember the wind event in March 3rd and March 4th, 23 outages on just those 2 days. So that event there did hurt those numbers. If you take that out, we feel like that we were right at or a little better than what we were last year. Water department, work orders completed for the calendar year is 278. Number of water leaks for this year 61. That is down from 85 of calendar year 2022. Sewer department, we had 209 work orders completed. The after-hour call service, we really look at that now on some of our numbers. The Doppler call service after hours, anytime we're not in the office, if you have a problem, that call is transferred to that service, and then they dispatch your on-call crew. We fielded 906 calls during the calendar year. Of those, 667 is electric, and also, again, we look into that increase. Just in the month of March, we had 303 calls to Doppler. So when the electric goes out, it doesn't take long for us to start fielding calls. Another thing we keep a close eye on is our industrial water usage. For calendar year 2023, we did see about an 8% decrease overall in industrial water usage. Last year we had a 9.6 million gallon per month. This year was 8.8. I think we can contribute that to just our industrial customers trying to, during times of inflation, you're cutting costs wherever you can. So I think that's what we're contributing the decrease there for. Average water production. This is something we really keep a close eye on. One of the things is, we're charged for every gallon of water that's taken out, whether it be your withdrawal fees to Berea College, whether it be the withdrawal fees to Kentucky the Kentucky River Authority. We had 2.88 million gallon per day average. That is a slight decrease from the previous year of 2.933. Our highest day of demand was 3.9 million, February 23rd. Last year, our highest demand day was 2.7. That was December 27th. That was, if you remember back to December 27th, 2022, that was the extreme cold condition. So that's why we're a little cautious. Even though we're raising the lakes, we know that we've got some cold conditions on the way. We do anticipate that demand to go up. One of the other metrics that we keep track of is anyone that's familiar with the water treatment process, we do recycle the lagoon water. Whenever we treat the water, that sludge is into the two holding lagoons. The solids settle, the water on top, we recycle that back into the plant. We've been doing that for probably 7 years now. The decant usage over the that's the recycled water, we were able to recycle 41.42 million gallons over the year. That's a savings, a water withdrawal savings of nearly $8,000, but more importantly, that's 14 days of water supply that we didn't have to draw from the lakes. Wastewater treatment plant averages. This is something, if you've been here for a while, you realize that we've had I&I issues. We've done a lot of projects to try to address those. In 2023, I'm pleased to present an average daily flow of 2.6 million gallons. That is down from an average daily flow of 2.8 2022, 3.1 in 2021, 3.7, 3.8, 3.9. So as we started seeing these numbers, we know it's a direct correlation to precipitation and amount of water that we get. But the peaks that we're seeing is not changing very much. So this is a great indicator that the money that we're spending, the projects that we're completing, is having a positive impact on the I&I in our system.
Kevin, would you define I&I for the council, please?
Inflow and infiltration. So during a and somewhere when we get time, when we have a stale period in the city, I'd love to do a presentation on our SWIM software modeling. When you have a rain event, especially a heavy rain event over a short period of time, we trend the influent at the sewer plant, and you'll have a dramatic rise right off the stop. Then you'll have a dramatic decrease when the rain stops, but then after a certain point, that decrease just sort of goes away. So the inflow is that dramatic rise, that dramatic decrease, and the infiltration is more of the cracks in the line. You know, the inflow is more of a direct connection, storm drains, manhole lid cover not sealed tightly and gets underwater, and then the infiltration is more over the period of time, and it's really neat. But I&I is the inflow infiltration, direct correlation from stormwater. Any other questions at this point? I promise, Jim, I'm getting into the main topic. A couple other things I just wanted to hit the high spots. I'll go more in depth on the next council report on the projects. I really felt like it was important to go over some of those yearly numbers. Some of the major things that we're working with in each division. LED street lighting. We talk about that quite a bit. We have 1,071 street lights as of the first of this month that we provide for public safety to the city of Berea. We've currently replaced 580 of those lights, so we're past the halfway point now with the more efficient LED lighting. We're performing in-house cammering inspection and assessment of the Brushy Fork sewer shed. Along with our flow monitoring, we've identified that this sewer shed is probably, well, it's not probably, it is the main contributor to our I&I issues. We have funding in place through the Cleaner Water Round 1 for Brushy Fork sewer shed rehabilitation. What we're hoping to do with our in-house inspections, cammering, cleaning, is to identify in that project area the 1, 2, 3 spots, whatever that may be, to where the most damage to that line's at, where we can get more bang for a buck on doing the repairs. Also on the sewer side, our engineers are in the middle of the design phase of the Highway 595 pump station upgrade. If you've been out the northern end of town, is booming. The pump station we have out there right now is adequate. It's not going to be for long, and it's got some age on it, so we are looking at a new upsizing the force main, upsizing that pump station to accommodate all the development in that area. Bee Lake remediation project has begun. Equipment's on site. Added to the work session, the comment was made about slopes, 2-to-1, 3-to-1, where you start seeing we have a 2-to-1 slope out there. And unfortunately, we had a huge rain event when we done some work there previously before the vegetation grew back, and we had a slip on that slope. But we've got a contractor on site that's going to be repairing that slip. We'll be submitting some RFPs in the coming weeks. Touched on this briefly in the work session, AMI metering. You guys are probably as tired of hearing that as I am saying it, but we promise that that's never been on the back burner. That is something that's really going to advance our utility. It's going to enhance customer information that they have access to. Complete transparency. The hold up there has been this is going to be a major project. Some significant amount of funds going to this. and we really wanted to sort of shore up what some of our costs are going to be with the Owsley Fork project, and also with our new purchase power agreement. Now that those costs are coming in more of a concrete figure, we're ready to move forward with that. Street cut repairs. I know with Public Works Committee, that's always a concern. As of 2 weeks ago, we'd repaired all the street cuts that had been made with the water and sewer cuts. So now that we've sort of got a clean slate there, I do want to issue an RFP to where we just have we have a standard cost where we can call a contractor when we get 5 cuts, 10 cuts, whatever that number is. We give them a call. We got them under contract to come and make those repairs. Several people interested in that. I think we'll get some competitive bids. And last but certainly not least, the point I've been trying to hurry up and get through here is Owsley Fork. Pleased to announce that the 90% design that we've spoken about for so many years has been resubmitted to the National Design Center in Fort Worth. Comments are expected back no later than the first week of March. We're really hoping to have those by the end of February. If that extends out a week or so, we're perfectly fine with that, but we should no later than the first week of March have comments back. In this process at that point, unless there's something just completely that we would not know even at this point what that would be, unless there is some kind of critical comment that would be a redesign. This will then be kicked over to Kentucky NRCS, and from that point, Fort Worth will sort of be out of the design portion of that. Kentucky NRCS will work with us to get to the 100% design, make sure that we addressed all the comments that were given by Fort Worth. We're on track to have bid documents by midsummer. I do feel that is a very attainable date, especially given that we're not anticipating nearly the amount of critical comments coming back this go around. Hopefully, from 90% to 100%, it's just going to be pretty much getting the bid documents together. Most of the design comments that were made before, we feel like we've thoroughly covered those, evaluated every way that we can, and we've addressed all the concerns there. Currently, we are finalizing roadway elevation concerns. There are some areas on Radford Hollow and on Owsley Fork where we're going to have to raise the blacktop level there. Again, going back to the stormwater, as I found that really interesting on the 100-year floods and 2-year, the 50-year, 10-year. There's some spots out there, rather than close the road down, we can just add some blacktop, a couple feet here, a couple feet there, and we'll be fine. In the coming weeks, we'll be scheduling meetings with some property owners to discuss any needed acquisitions. And also on the roadway, we've been working closely with Jackson County on closing down the portion of Owsley Fork Road near the end of the current maintenance. That part will be permanently underwater in a section rather than build a bridge or anything there. We've been working with Berea College, Jackson County. Even a property owner out there is aware of this and would be closing the road down. That went through the fiscal court, unanimous approval. They have to have a couple public readings. We should be hearing back any day on the approval to close that road down. I will say that, if we get the approval, that doesn't mean the very next day that road's going to be closed. We will wait till we get into construction and give everyone plenty of notice. The cemetery relocation plan, the site has been selected. The site has went through the cultural analysis, and we're working with the cultural resource analysts now to begin the process of the cemetery relocation. That'll be finalizing the relocation plan. Been getting a lot of calls from family members there. We're noting down the names, we're noting down the numbers. As soon as we have that relocation plan, we'll be reaching out to everyone there and letting them know the process. Utility line relocates, Bluegrass Energy comes into play there. There will be some minor relocates that'll be needed. Lease agreement for offsite storage. When we done the first design submittal, we pretty much had this worked out, but now we've reached back out to that property owner and we're hoping to finalize the lease agreement there. And you know, just out there on the site, some phone calls we got, we have had folks saying, you know, that like for us to just be more upfront on the information. And I've been stressing we will be having some public meetings to discuss the construction plans. What we want to do there is just see the magnitude of these 90% design comments. We've any questions been asked, we've gave the information, but you know, if we'd have had the public meetings 4 years ago, we'd be going back and, you know, so much has changed. Once we have those 90% design comments back, we'll see the magnitude of what it's going to take and if any design changes will be needed. And at that point, we'll be ready to conduct some public hearings and answer any questions anyone may have. With that said, I think I've covered everything that I had there. Any questions?
Kevin, before we get to questions, I want to back up on the first thing you mentioned, the water shortage advisory that's still in effect. For clarity, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but the advisory asks citizens or customers of Berea Municipal Utilities and also Southern Madison Water District, who the water supply comes from the BMU system, for voluntary conservation efforts. And we still want people to voluntarily conserve. Would you speak to that just a little bit about what types of things an individual homeowner can do, for instance, to conserve water? Because every little bit helps.
Yeah, we actually we posted a in-depth anything we could think of and we could find out there that's on our website on ways to conserve water. If you read that list, most of it is just being aware. You know, when you turn that faucet on, you know, think about that. Whether it's cutting down time in a shower. You know, there's ways on a dishwasher. You know, dishwashers now are rather efficient. You can even help that by not doing the dishes until, you know, you have a full load. Same with laundry. You know, brushing your teeth, shaving. You know, you just any time that faucet is running, be aware. Are you actually using that water? Again, that list, we have that on our website. To Mayor Fraley's point, we have been working closely with Southern Madison Water District, asking them to notify their customer. Berea College, we've had some discussions with them, and thank you, Mayor, for bringing that up. I will point out that when that advisory went in effect, you know, the students weren't on campus. Mm-hmm. When they came back on campus, we've not saw that big of a dramatic increase, and so I do feel between college making the students aware and our customers that there has been some improvement there. Now, you know, like I said, the 150,000 gallons a day the last few days, we anticipate that anytime with cold weather, we knew that would be coming, but you know, any way you can, just be cognizant of water going down the drain. Is that water being used?
Good. Thank you, Kevin. So just good old-fashioned common sense, right? And then we'll try to get that lifted hopefully by the end of the month, but as soon as we get to a 200-day supply. I know Jerry Little had a question. Jerry?
Yeah, Kevin, I got a question. When the dam gets raised, how many more gallon of water will we be able to hold?
So right now we're right at 650 million gallons at Owsley Fork.
650?
650 million
now?
Currently.
Okay.
And that will give us 1 billion, approximately 1 billion gallons. So, you know, a third, yeah, it's 350 million gallons.
350. How many days, if it was full, would that run us, or is that just approximately?
Currently?
Yeah.
Okay, currently with all of our, actually I have that broken, if you'll bear with me one quick second. Okay, so Owsley right now, 650 million gallons. We have, I'm sorry, I don't have that broken down in days. I can
That's
do the
okay.
math real quick, but you don't want to bear with me doing math in my head. We've got 290 days right now with all three lakes at full capacity. At the conclusion of this project, we will have 1 year's worth of, we'll have 300, right at 350
If everything's
days
full.
with Owsley full. And then we'll have an additional, we're at 81, 40, 120. That's additional 40 days between Cowbell and Bee Lake.
Okay.
So,
All right, thank you. There's a lot of people just like to hear that, you know, how much more, how many more gallons we're gonna get and all that. Thank you.
Would it be safe to say, Kevin, that once the dam's raised and filled and it's at capacity, that it'll take care of our water needs for the community, for southern Madison County, really for the foreseeable future? Would that be a fair statement?
So when we first started this, Mayor, we were looking at 50 years and, you know, the water supply for 50 years. And from those initial projections, growth has been a little slower than what it was back in the late 80s, early 90s. So I think it's safe to say with the growth that we've had, even with what we've recently had, that we're probably good for another 75 years of water supply, maybe longer.
Good, thank you. Other questions for Kevin? Jim?
Kevin, what's the completion time once construction starts on the dam? You got any idea?
Yeah, that's interesting. So we've, it was 18 months. I think it was 16 to 18 months was the engineer's original estimate. Once we've gotten everything compiled, everything, you know, a clear path of what we think it's going to look like, that did not change. That's still at 18 months. It was 16 to 18 months, and with the final engineer estimate in the 90% design, it was 18 months of construction time.
Okay. Two other things. Somebody asked me the other day, do we have to, or do you have to release water out of Owsley Fork to keep the creek running on down, you know, for water for people on downstream?
No, that would just be done through design currently and in the future. You know, that was, I was talking with a customer out there not long ago on, you know, some of the storm drains, you know, that pointed out some of the storm drains may be stopped up, and that's a very good point. You know, that may be keeping water getting into Owsley. But if that storm drain is functioning, chances are Owsley's already overflowing at the current level. You know, because that means rain rushing in. So, you know, with those lakes, you have the intake structure, normal pool. If it gets above that on what the design is, that's when water is going into the creek.
Okay.
Same thing with all the lakes. Mr. Terrell sees this behind his house. You know, if Bee Lake's overflowing, you got a steady stream going through there.
Okay. My other comment, and I heard this from somebody last time we had a serious water shortage, was a way to conserve water. And we all flush the commode, I don't know how many times a day, but their quote was, if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. So I just thought I'd throw that out.
That
might save some water.
I have found the list while we're talking. That did not make the list.
Okay. You can put it on there.
But that is, to Mayor Fraley's point, that's good common sense advice there.
Other questions or comments for Kevin? Ronnie?
Kevin, a lot of people, when you talk to them about it, how come we don't dredge the lake now at its lowest level that we got? Because it looks like it'd be a good time to put a dozer in there and smooth out them bottoms.
So part of the approval, part of getting permitting for design through Army Corps was going through every avenue to prove that you needed an additional, and we went through several scenarios. One of the things there was since this dam, the structure was put into service, all of the runoff, you know, you had a lot of silt build up. So we had to do what's called a bathymetric survey. We actually went around the entire lake, doing sonar. And that gave, through the sonar, we were able to see how much sediment actually came in, and surprisingly, it was much less than what they'd even anticipated. So, I didn't explore that in depth, but I will tell you this, one of the negative aspects of that, yeah, sure, you can get a few days of capacity if you were to dredge. If you dredge that, obviously you don't have the expense of hauling that off-site, so it goes back up on the bank. Next major rain event, it's right back in the lake.
Other questions or comments for Kevin?
You mentioned this during the work session, but I just wanted to clarify since you mentioned the metering. Is that going to happen in this fiscal year, or will that be happening at the end of 2024?
That is budgeted. A lot of the cost in that is budgeted for this fiscal year. With other folks that I'm talking to, that is one of the things. The supply chain shortage on metering is not as bad as it was, but it's still there. At the start of this budget year, we even cut some of that number back because we knew that if we went full steam ahead and had approval at the end of July, we wouldn't have all those meters in. Now, instead of a 12-month, 14-month lead time, it's looking more like 4 to 6 month lead time. So if we can get everything in place, and we've got 2 vendors we really like. Once we go out to RFP, we anticipate that it would probably be one of those 2. And, we do feel like we'd be able to install some meters this fiscal year.
Other questions for Kevin? All right, Kevin, great report.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. And we'll next move forward to see if there's any other department heads that would like to address the council. And I see Codes and Planning Administrator Amanda Haney. Amanda, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening again. First want to just mention thank you for your attention and support for the update to the stormwater manual. It's one of those kind of difficult conversations because we know we don't have a choice in a lot of these things. But again, just appreciate that from you guys. Otherwise, I want to formally introduce the city's new GIS technician, Matthew Thomas, and so Matthew's here with me. Matthew has worked with our office for a year and a half as a part-time employee, and so during that time we were able to see how much he's going to be able to do for our office. We've really appreciated working with him. So fast forward through that year and a half, he was also in school. So he just graduated from EKU in December. He has now a GIS certificate. He had a double major in political science and GIS, a minor in geography, so certainly well qualified for the job. And just again wanted to formally introduce Matthew to you guys and the community. Some of you may have seen that Matthew's first week as a full-time employee, he made the Richmond Register and Fox 56 News for our Trash for Cash program, and so his face may look familiar. But anyway, just again want to introduce him to you guys and the community.
All right, let's give Matthew
Thank you.
a hand. Congratulations.
Or do you want to make a speech, Matthew?
Matthew, you have the floor. Go right ahead.
Well, I don't have anything prepared, but I'd just like to say that so far I've really enjoyed my time working at Berea, and I'm looking forward to what I have a bright visions and dreams for the GIS department. So I'm looking forward to the future.
All right, now I'm going to get you to test me here. GIS, Geographic Information Systems.
Perfect.
Is that right? All right, so he's trained me well.
Perfect.
Matthew, congratulations again, and we're looking forward to more good things from you. You've already contributed a lot, and looking forward to seeing you grow along with the city. Thank you, Amanda. Any other department heads like to address the council? All right. Seeing none, we'll move forward to public comment. Would any members of the public like to address the council? All right, seeing none, we'll move forward to the city administrator's report, and I'll recognize Rose Beverly. Rose, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Since we just talked about Matthew, can I just say how excited I am to have you on our team? You're here, so we've already called them out, so I'm just going to go with that. But the Trash for Cash program was something that started because some member of the community called me and said, you know, is this something that you guys are doing? And I said, I don't even know what that is. So I Googled it, you know, and I found it was being done in, I think, Boone County or something. So I called Matthew and told him about it. And the next thing I know, we have a whole program and it's on the website. And I'm like, okay, that is amazing, because we have mechanisms in place to do it, but he just took the initiative and did it. And that is so uncommon, and I'm just so grateful to have you and all the things you're already doing. That he's sent out to everybody. You're a great member that we have been able to snag on our team. So the next thing I want to talk about is the amended budget. As you guys know, I sent you out an invite today to our meeting on February 1st. We have met now with all the department heads. Our next step is to meet with the mayor, and then we will be meeting with all of you together in a work session. So again, I can just say that after meeting with every department head, the changes are so minimal. It's really clean, and I'm excited about that. So it should be a fairly short meeting, hopefully. For the written report that we usually get sent out on the second meeting of the month, it will be coming. It'll just be a little late due to weather and a holiday. So that'll be coming before the end of the week. What I'm working on right now my big projects are going to be an RFP for the streets and a garbage service RFP. So it's time now to do that garbage RFP. We are out of extensions. We have to do that. So I'll be working on typing that up. I've been looking for something to go off of, and I have nothing, so it should be a lot of work. It'll be fun. We'll get it together. We do have a Public Works Committee meeting in the basement of City Hall, or actually not the basement. I think we'll do it in the Randy Stone room, the 23rd of January at 6 p.m. And then also a Parks Committee meeting January 25th. And that is all that I have for you tonight, and I will take any questions.
All right, questions for Rose?
All right.
Rose, they're letting you off easy tonight. Thank you for the
Thank
good
you.
report. All right, the next item on the agenda is mayor's comments. Mine will be brief. We met one of our newest members, and very happy for Matthew with one of our new staff members. We do have 3 longtime employees that are going to be retiring. One of the things that Cora Jane had asked for is anytime we had a retirement to make sure and let you all know. Bill Lovern is retiring. He'll retire at the end of January. Bill has been with our BMU electric division for, I know, over 20 years. I don't know exactly how long, Kevin, but he goes back to the Berea College days, I think, so prior to 2005. So we're really happy for him and his family. Also, Preston Chandler in our Public Works Department will retire at the end of January, and I know he also has over 20 years of service. And finally, and I should have asked her today because I saw her, but Sheila Wolf in our Finance Department has announced her retirement, and it will be the last day of April in 2024. And I know Sheila's been working with the City of Berea Finance and Utilities for as long as I can remember. So appreciate her and Bill and Preston for their service to the city. So I wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of those 3 retirements. Also, hats off to the Public Works staff. I'm real hesitant about complimenting one particular department, but yesterday they did above and beyond the call of duty. Our streets are as clear as anybody's, and I would put our Public Works staff up against anybody. So those guys were out all night. They had a split shift. I think there was a half shift that came in last night at 7 o'clock and worked till 7 this morning to make sure that everybody could get around and get back to work today. And I really appreciate their efforts, and thanks to them, to Roy and his whole team for a job well done. Final thing that I want to mention tonight is a shout out for our police chief, Jason Hayes. Just got back a report from the Kentucky League of Cities Insurance Services. They came and did a loss control survey for Berea, and I kept looking for a ding or something wrong, and there was nothing wrong. We got 100%, and that was, they score you on, for loss prevention on 62 different items. Usually you'll get dinged on a few of those things that you gotta work on, which we have in the past, but Chief Hayes's department achieved 148 points out of 148 possible. So that was outstanding, and that will help us with our insurance premiums. And Chief, want to commend you and your staff for a job well done and making sure that that we're abiding by risk management standards and doing the best we can there. So congratulations and thank you for that. That concludes my report. We'll next move to council comments, and I'll begin with Jim Davis. Jim?
Congratulations, Chief. Thank you for your job well done. I'd like to comment on the city streets as well. The street department did an outstanding job, and sad part about it is they say there's more coming tomorrow night, so they're going to be working again. Welcome to Matthew. Before you leave, welcome. All right.
Gotcha.
And Kevin, thank you for your report. And I've just got one question. I know the weather has played a role in all this. Has anybody heard anything about the trash pickup?
Haven't heard anything yet. Rose can check on that in the morning to see what kind of delay they're on.
I know what the reason is, the holiday and the snow, but just curious. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Next, we'll move to Teresa Centers. Teresa.
Well, I want to say one thing that's stuck in my mind this evening as we've had this meeting is how very grateful we should all be for our department heads and how well they run their departments in the city, and just take everything to the ultimate level. Kevin, your report was really good, and we appreciate all that you do, and Jason and Amanda and Priscilla and all the others who are not here, but just sometimes it's good for us to stop and take a deep breath and think about how well the city actually is run. And I know all those guys on the street department must be exhausted. They work just all the time at top levels, but during this weather, I know how hard that is on them. So we just will continue to pray for their safety, and thank you to all of you for what you do.
Thank you, Teresa. Next, we'll move to Katie Starsman. Katie.
I'm really grateful, Amanda, that you all presented these changes to this manual in such a detailed way and had the representative from Thoroughbred there, because I know this is something that you guys deal with every day, but I'm not familiar with all the processes, so I appreciate your patience and careful explanation of that. And I also wanted to thank the guys who fixed the water leak behind our restaurant. It was deeply affecting us and a lot of people on our block, and it was tricky. I don't even understand how they find the leaks, but it made a huge impact for us, and it was a really cold day when they're out there working, and you take those kind of things for granted, but I'm really grateful for their work.
Thank you, Katie. Next, we'll move to Jerry Little. Jerry.
No comment.
Thank you, sir. Next, we'll move to Steve Cottle. Steve.
No comment.
Cora Jane.
Well, since they didn't comment, I'll talk for a long time. No, I'm teasing. Lisa and Xenia are gone, but I just want to tell you all that is a big problem, human trafficking. I actually had a gentleman and I probably told this before, but I'm going to tell it again. A car pulled up in front of the antique mall, literally almost blocking our door, like blocking, where you would walk in. And a gentleman got out, and I'm looking like, what's going on? And he comes in and just real stern. Have you seen a blonde-headed girl in a pink t-shirt, sweatshirt? And I looked at him and I said, no. He got right in my face and asked me again. And I said, no, I have not. And I thought in my mind, and if I had, I would not tell you, because it just didn't feel right, Jason. And their car tags were from Ohio. I couldn't get it because they pulled out of our parking lot so fast. I did get his pictures on camera though. but it's real, and it's coming up and down our interstate, and we need to pray. This is young kids. It could be my grandkids, it could be your kids. We never know, but we need to be mindful of that and alert when you see kids out and know what's going on. But I just wanted to tell that. And also, congratulations, Jason. Good job. Kevin, great report. And sorry to hear about your dad. So sorry. Amanda, I think your upgrade cheat sheets are good, so appreciate it. I appreciate all of our employees in the street department. It's done a phenomenal job, and I appreciate all of our employees. That's it. Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank you, Cora Jane. Next, we'll move to Ronnie Terrell. Ronnie. Okay, that'll conclude council comments. At this time, I would request a motion to enter executive session to discuss pending litigation under KRS 61.810C. Is there a motion?
So moved.
By Jim Davis, second by Steve Cottle. Is there any discussion on the motion to move to executive session? Seeing none, I'll request a voice vote. All in favor of the motion to enter executive session under that KRS, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Okay, at this time, we'll move into executive session. I would ask everybody to vacate the courtroom. Chief, we will need you back at the conclusion, so this point, I'll request a motion to return to open session. By Steve Cottle, is there a second by Jerry Little? Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a voice vote. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. We are back in open session, and I'll report that the Berea City Council met in closed session to discuss pending litigation per KRS 61.810C, and no decisions were made. That brings us to the end of our business meeting agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn? By Steve Cottle and second by Teresa Centers. All in favor of the motion to adjourn, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Motion carries and the meeting